Tonight, authorities urge drivers to be extra cautious on our roads after a tragic weekend. And Clean Seas win approval to use the Point Lowly Marina, but under strict conditions.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. Motorists have been urged to take extra care on our roads following a horror weekend which saw 3 lives lost across South Australia. The RAA says road users need to be vigilant, especially with winter conditions setting in.
In just a 48-hour period at the weekend, tragedy struck 3 times on South Australian roads. Police now issuing a plea to motorists to be safe behind the wheel.
People just need to be responsible when they use our road network. We want people to be safe on our roads.
Our region not immune from the impact. A 69-year-old Norton Summit cyclist died on the Augusta Highway at Red Hill after colliding with a van. While on Sunday, police attended what they believe is a hit and run on the Augusta Highway at Stirling North. The pedestrian, a 20-year-old local man, was pronounced dead at the scene.
Every person that uses the roads in any capacity, whether you're a driver, a rider, a pedestrian, you have to take a responsibility and you have to do the right thing on the roads as well.
With today officially marking the first day of winter, the RAA says it's a timely reminder to drive to the conditions.
Driving to the conditions is so important, not speeding, being aware of what's going on around you, and all importantly, not being distracted by other things.
46 lives have been lost on South Australian roads this year, compared to 44 at the same time last year. SAASL says it's particularly concerning as most deaths on our roads are avoidable.
It is catastrophic for families, for work colleagues, for communities quite often, and that's something that people just need to take note of.
Katrina Mussin, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Whyalla City Council has approved Clean Seas' bid to access the Point Lowly Marina. The decision was made at a special council meeting last night. A 3-year deal will allow the company to harvest kingfish under strict conditions. Nets are banned from the marina, with vessels limited to under 18.5 metres in size. Operations must also finish by 9 p.m. each day. Mayor Claire McLaughlin says they approved the controversial plan in order to maintain control.
If we didn't make a decision around access to the Point Lowly Marina for Clean Seas, then the government would take back the control and they would then issue it to another third party.
Council previously objected to the company's bid on several occasions. A Broken Hill woman has fallen victim to an alleged puppy scam, leaving her without a canine companion and thousands of dollars out of pocket. Police say it's likely the dog the woman thought she was buying doesn't even exist.
Welcoming a 4-legged friend into the family is meant to be a special time, but for one Broken Hill woman, it's turned into a heartbreaking ordeal.
On the weekend, there was a lady in town that was duped out of nearly $2,000 for a puppy that did not exist.
Police describing the act as callous and worryingly don't think it's the first time the scammers have struck.
The communication between the apparent seller and the lady here appeared well organised.
But when shopping online, there are some warning signs to look out for.
Making a payment up front before you're aware of when it's going to be delivered, being asked for further payments to secure the goods, that's a real red flag in what happened in this instance.
The RSPCA says adopting pets from a shelter is one way to protect yourself.
If they are looking to buy from a breeder, it is good to make sure that the breeder is registered.
With tax time just around the corner, police say it's also a timely reminder to be wary of any phone calls claiming to be from the ATO or police.
We are not enforcing warrants for unpaid tax bills. Don't believe it, don't be tricked into it.
And if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. Lachlan Eater, 7 Spencer Golf News.
South Australians are being reminded to get a COVID test if suffering mild flu-like symptoms. It comes after SA Health recorded a 40% fall in testing rates. It follows concerns the virus may have spread from Victoria, with contact tracers scrambling to track more than 27,000 travellers who have arrived since May 6. Anyone with symptoms such as a fever, dry cough, headache and runny nose is being urged to get tested immediately. South Australian paramedics have voted in favour of a new deal which will see more paramedics recruited, including in Port Augusta and Whyalla. The union says while they welcome the extra resources, there's still room for improvement.
It's been a public and at times bitter dispute, but finally an end is in sight. The State Government and Ambulance Employee Association striking a deal which will see an additional 74 ambulance officers employed across the state. 24 of those will be at country stations, with Port Augusta, Whyalla and Ceduna to get 6 each.
So that'll assist providing a better level of service, obviously, for the regions.
It will also see a roster reform, with the extra staff removing the fatiguing on-call roster.
Our members will no longer have to work 96 hours straight with a pager on their hips. It is life-changing for our members up there, and these rosters have been a long time needing to be removed.
While it's a step in the right direction, the AEA says more needs to be done to combat increased demand and resource shortages. In recent weeks, 2 cases in Whyalla saw a priority 1 carried to hospital, while a patient suffering a seizure was forced to wait over an hour for an ambulance from Port Augusta.
Improving ambulance response times in the evening during when those on-call rosters will be removed. But during the day, unfortunately, we're still going to be stuck with only 2 ambulances for Whyalla and 2 ambulances for Port Augusta.
The member for Giles says lives are on the line if the issue isn't addressed.
Some of the incidents here in Whyalla with the inordinate delays with people with serious conditions is deeply concerning, and it is putting our lives at risk.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, boaties urged to be alert as new abalone restrictions come into force in South Australia. And Broken Hill footballers talk tough on mental health. Welcome back. South Australia's abalone industry has welcomed new restrictions aimed at stopping the spread of a viral disease from interstate. The ban will restrict the importation of fresh produce from Victoria and New South Wales.
Protecting an industry currently on edge. New laws now in place for South Australian boaties as the government ramps up efforts to protect the state's abalone industry.
Abalone viral ganglion neuritis, we're treating that as a real risk to the abalone industry. It's not here yet, but it's certainly been discovered in both Victoria and New South Wales.
Local stakeholders are pleased with the outcome, saying preventative action had to be taken.
The movement of abalone between states does need to be stopped because that's how the virus is spread.
They say an outbreak would have a devastating effect on the local region.
300 jobs, both directly and downstream. So if that were to be impacted, it would cause a major impact on the coastal communities where most of the fishery licences are based.
The restrictions include a ban on all interstate live and fresh abalone into South Australia from Victoria and New South Wales. Members of the public are only permitted to bring preserved abalone in sealed packaging into the state.
I just remind fishers that using abalone, any abalone product for bait or burley is actually illegal, and it's a timely reminder.
Boaties are urged to be vigilant.
AVG is a notifiable disease, so I'd ask people to be on the lookout for any high levels of mortality or unexplained disease within the industry.
Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The next generation of junior doctors have been given a taste of real-world experience at a workshop in Port Pirie. It's hoped the program can encourage more medical students to consider a career in rural and regional areas.
It's just a simulation today, but these scenarios are what University of Adelaide medical students can expect to face on the job. The university is holding a week-long workshop for 44 fifth-year students from their rural medical program.
It's one of only 3 opportunities that the students have to come together as a whole cohort.
Aimed at increasing their confidence, it combines a series of tutorials with practical sessions in anaesthetics, emergency medicine and in other fields.
Today they've got a virtual hospital simulation, in which they're following patients right through the process.
It's really important as a doctor to learn to take the responsibility for making difficult decisions.
The workshop is also helping the students with their exams, which start at the end of the week. Cindy Lamb and Luke Green are both looking forward to serving regional and rural communities where the need for doctors is reaching critical levels.
I've definitely had a strong interest in the country, and I think my family as well. My brother wants to be a rural GP.
So it's been an awesome opportunity to, spend the whole 12 months out rurally and really get a taste of what it's going to be like.
The program wraps up on June the 4th. Mark Zeta, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
2 AFL stars have visited Broken Hill for the Tackle Your Feelings program. The initiative working with local footy clubs to address and identify mental health issues within the community before they can become more serious.
Tackling issues off the field is just as important as tackling during a game. That was the message given to our local footy clubs last night.
They might have had a bad day or they might be going through a bad month. Off the field, could be on the field as well.
Giants coach Leon Cameron and former Swans player Ryan O'Keefe in Broken Hill to launch the Tackle Your Feelings program. It's aimed at helping clubs improve the mental health of their players and the community.
To give coaches and administrators tools to help identify if there's any mental health issues amongst their players.
Suicide is the leading cause of death for young people, with men 3 times more likely to take their own life than women. The strong bonds within a footy club said to be an ideal platform to tackle those issues.
The stigma's been put away. It's actually safe to talk. Football clubs are really safe environments. It's not this macho sort of you can't say anything or show feelings because that's soft or that's weak.
Cameron says good mental health is just as important as physical fitness, a philosophy he uses when coaching.
Well, I think it's just reading cues, maybe an understanding of how to read in cues with some people that they might be coaching. You're not just their coach, you can be a father figure to them.
And if you do need help, support is available through Lifeline on 13 11 14. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us. The nomination date for Broken Hill's upcoming Civic Ball extended, and Port Lincoln lit up in a spectacular display. Port Lincoln locals were treated to a special off-season pinch of salt performance on Sunday night. Brinkworth Reserve was transformed from a local neighbourhood park into an immersive musical soundscape.
The City of Port Lincoln, providing the perfect backdrop for this unique light and sound spectacle.
It's a unique merging of science and music, and I think that's really excited people's imagination.
Around 50 locals braved the chilly weather, with cheese platters and bottles of wine providing the perfect side dish.
Putting in a context of outdoors, in the environment, people bring their own chairs, so it's very COVID friendly, and their own wine. It creates a very conducive atmosphere to experiencing this type of music.
Primordial is an immersive work, combining grand piano, electronics and lighting. The work inspired by the ancient fossil beds in the Flinders Ranges.
I've had some fantastic feedback. People have said, I can hear these sounds of life beginning, I can hear the tectonic plates.
The performance created to push the boundaries of the human senses.
My mission is to create avant-garde music, which is always on the edges, but it creates ripples to wider society. It gives people ideas and it excites them.
This was the last performance of a tour which visited the Flinders Ranges and Lower Eyre Peninsula. Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Girls wanting to take part in Broken Hill's Civic Ball have until the end of the week to register their interest. The sign-up period extended due to lower than expected nominations. Mayor Daria Turley says while there's been significant interest in the ball, just 2 people had put their names forward by Friday. She's encouraging anyone who wants to debut to contact council so the traditional event can go ahead in August. It was a bumper weekend of sport across the regions, with sunny and cool conditions making it perfect for our netballers. In Port Pirie's league, Solomon Town took out a win against Port. Mark Zeta has more.
Netballers across the regions welcomed the calm conditions, making it easy for high-scoring contests. In Port Pirie, Solomon Town were among the teams that took advantage. They defeated Port 73 goals to 48, with Solomon Town's Jakia Spedovicia winning Intersport Player of the Week. In the other match, Blue Wren were winners against SM Celtic 52 to 37. Turning to Port Augusta's netball, the Magpies took on the Railways in a Thursday night match, with the visiting side getting the victory 45 to 37. In the other match, St Joseph's defeated the Vikings 55 goals to 42. Corn had the bye, with their players earning a much-needed rest. Round 7 of the Whyalla netball competition saw YCW dominate the Warriors 62 to 38 on Saturday afternoon, while Kiwi were too strong for True Blue, defeating them 51 goals to 34. The Ravens had the round off. Going down to Port Lincoln now, and the Wallina Rangers defeated Imperial by 19 goals. And it was a close match between Wayback and Boston, with the visitors managing a narrow 7-goal win. Up in Broken Hill, the West Flames Black had a thrilling win over the St Joey Jesters, with only 1 goal separating the two sides. The New Kids had an easier contest against the NAB Stars, shutting out their opponents in a 20-goal win. Turning to soccer now, and in the NPL State League 2, the Northern Demons remain winless after 6 matches, with Adelaide University defeating them over the weekend. The Demons are second to the bottom by goal difference and host Port Adelaide at Burn Park on Saturday. It was a different story for Savoy in the Amateur League, where they recorded a thumping 11-0 win over Seaford. They sit second on the Division 2 table. And in Whyalla soccer, Steel United remain top after a comfortable 5-2 win over Westlands United, while the Lions thrashed last year's champions, the Wanderers, 6-2 to record their first league win of the season. If you would like your team scores featured in our bulletin, let us know through our Facebook page.
Stay with us after the break. South Australians reminded to put out their candles before bed. And we'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Hello again. With winter officially starting today, firefighters have issued a reminder to be alert for candle fires in the home. In the past 5 years, preventable fires have caused almost $8 million in damage to 113 homes. Between 5 to 6 lives are also lost in South Australia each year. Home Fire Safety Week 2021 launched today and will run until June 7, aiming to spark the public into taking action to reduce their risk of a blaze. Time to take a look at what's happening in the weather across the Spencer Gulf and Broken Hill. With all the details, here's Alex Sykes.
Thanks, John, and good evening, everyone. It wasn't a bad day to mark the start of winter. Partly cloudy conditions with showers in a few centres, with those wet conditions to continue for the next couple of days. From 3 p.m. today, it was partly cloudy in Port Pirie 23. Similar conditions were in Clare 20, a shower or two in Woodna 24. Looking further out across the region now, Port Augusta 25 degrees, Whyalla 24, Port Lincoln and Coffin Bay both had possible showers and reached 21. Broken Hill was cloudy and 20, Kadina cloudy and 23, Cleve had a shower or two and was also 23, Cooper Pedy was cloudy and 26, and similar conditions in Adelaide, 21 there. Taking a look at the satellite image now, scattered cloud across the state with a low and troughs is generating areas of showers mainly south and isolated storms mainly over the northwest. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Northerly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 1 to 1.5 metres, decreasing to below 1 metre during the afternoon, and south to southwesterly swell below 1 metre. Showers across the Gulf tomorrow. Port Lincoln 20 and Cleve and Woodna will both reach 19 degrees. Whyalla and Port Augusta both 21 degrees, Kadina 19, Port Pirie 21 there, Clare set to reach a high of 19, and rain at times in Broken Hill set to reach 18 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, showers across most of the Gulf again tomorrow. tomorrow, except for in Cooperampedy and Broken Hill, where it'll be cloudy. 19 will be the region's top, while Adelaide will only reach a top of 17. Clearing up on Friday, showers across Port Pirie, Kadina and Adelaide, partly cloudy everywhere else. Cooperampedy will have the region's top temperature, a max of 19 there, while Broken Hill is forecast to reach just 15 degrees. And now to our first glimpse of the weekend's forecast, and mainly fine conditions across the Gulf on Saturday, sunny and 15 in Broken Hill, partly cloudy elsewhere, Whyalla and Port Augusta to top 20 degrees. So, John, we may have a week of rain forecast, which on the upside is great for the garden, but luckily it's all looking likely to turn around on the weekend. See you in a bit with a weather update. It's back to you.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Tuesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, and we will return tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Until then, from the news team, enjoy your evening. Good night.